happens when a pastry artisan wears many hats: chef, founder, and constant innovator, and builds a brand around French pastry in Malaysia. Xiao-Ly's journey from a humble home-based beginning to Xiaobycrustz reveals that passion, innovation, and business can grow together with a couple of tweaks. Today we sit down with Xiao-Ly Koh, chef-founder of Xiaobycrustz patisserie in SS2 Petaling Jaya, Malaysia. Over 14 years, she's navigated the balance between artistry and entrepreneurship, educated customers about French pastry, and built a brand that blends Western technique with local flavor. We'll explore why she still holds on to her dream, now realized in a flagship store, how she pushes the boundaries with her quirky flavors, how she has remained steadfast to her craft all these years, and how she has incorporated her favorite movies and characters into her pastries. Hello and welcome to the final episode of Season 10 of the Womenpreneur Asia podcast. I'm your host, Krista Gun. My mission is to uncover the stories and strategies of Asian women entrepreneurs to inspire and guide you on your own entrepreneurial journey. This episode is brought to you by Redbox Studio. Today we're speaking with a woman who is a pastry chef, artisan, and entrepreneur. From refining French pastry skills to building a flagship patisserie, Xiao-Ly shares how she blends craft with business, uses visual storytelling and seasonal menus to connect with customers, and continuously learns from staff feedback to global inspirations like Studio Ghibli. If you know any young person who's pursuing a career in culinary arts, please share this episode with them. It's a fascinating insider look at the lessons and experiences of being not just an entrepreneur, but balancing the desire to create beautiful pastry with building a brand and a business for the long term. Hi Xiao-Ly, welcome to Womenpreneur Asia.
Thanks for having me.
Xiao-Ly, for those who don't know who you are, could you give just a brief introduction of who you are and what you do?
So my name is Xiao-Ly. I'm the chef and founder of Xiaobycrustz patisserie. So we've been around for about 14 years. We mainly do French mousse cakes in the beginning, and we expanded desserts like gelato, ice cream cakes, and recently to also baked goods like breads and croissants.
And where are you based, Xiao-Ly?
I'm based in PJ, SS2. We have a physical shop lot which seats about 60 packs. It's all made in-house and we only have one outlet for now.
When we were speaking weeks before this, we were talking about this idea of being an entrepreneur and a chef and an artist. So where do you see yourself in terms of these roles? Because you are the owner and you're also the artisanal patisserie chef.
Yes. So it's juggling between many hats at the same time. But first and foremost, I see myself as a chef. Because if I see myself as an entrepreneur, I actually could have sold anything and everything, whatever that is sellable as a business person. But my passion became what it is today is because my love for baking and all things pastry. So I gained my skills and experience through going to schools, working for bakeries throughout the years, and then eventually we opened our first store in 2016. But I'm actually very much home-based when I first graduated, because in 2012, when I first started doing this online, French pastry was very, how do you put it, not in trend, very not well known. A lot of people were not educated on how and what is French pastry. So it took me many years before I could develop following, I would say, with my fans and the people who actually like my. Eventually, we opened our first store in 2016. So it's a long journey, but I would say because there weren't many stores during my time, I didn't have as much exposure to retail business. So I had to learn that a lot, like on a steep slope along the way. So at the same time trying to gather more skills and practice, I also had to learn how to be a business person, managing staff, dealing with accounts, getting customers, marketing. So it is a lot of different hats that I have to wear at the same time. But what drives me to my goal or continue loving what I do is actually really being a chef.
So first and foremost, you are a chef.
Yes, I view it that way, yeah.
Okay. And then only you are an entrepreneur.
Yes, that's correct. Because I still like doing a lot of the things in the kitchen. If you see me at the store, I'm actually not at the front of house. I'm actually, most of the time, like 70% of my time is in the kitchen trying new flavors, new R&D, or trying new skills that I've seen or learned through other people or even online. But at the same time, just with passion doesn't put food on the table, as people say. We would need to sell what we make in order to continue and support what we like to do. So there's a fine balance between the two. In the very beginning of my career, I actually didn't sell French pastry. I actually sold other baked goods, which is more commonly or more understandable for most customers. So I sold things like fondant cakes, like customized cakes for birthday parties or events, cupcakes, like muffins or macarons, or things that people are already familiar with. Before I moved on into French pastry. It's just to gather trust and confidence from the customers first and slowly educate them on what French pastry really is. From there, they are more acceptant to new things and changes and new flavors. So I built up my first pot of little gold, and then I had my first store, and from there it continued to grow.
Can I stop you and ask you to define French pastry for those of us who don't know what it is?
So French pastry is actually very in trend right now compared to maybe at least 5 years ago. French pastry is actually a different texture of cake in one bite. So there is mousse, cream, jelly, sponge, or even a crunchy base. So it's a sensation of different textures and flavors at one time. It's not your traditional just sponge cake and cream. It's a little bit more exciting. So at the same time, we can play with different outlooks of the cake. So if you go to our website or if you've seen our Instagram, cakes are molded into different patterns, colors, or even to attract customers through visual first. Because, in the modern day, visual is a very important part besides taste. I would say it's equally important now. The first step is to visually attract the customer, and then with taste, they will remember you and come again. So both come hand in hand. You can't just have one. Yeah. So with French pastry,
so people should actually should go and look at your website, right? To really have a look at how dainty the pastries look.
Yes. Another way to describe French pastry is a lot of people just decorate the cake for the sake of decorating it. It's just for outlook. But for French pastry, there's one more step ahead where we call it garnishing with a purpose. So for example, when we put chocolate decoration, besides visuals, it brings like a crunch to the cake when you eat the decoration, or the glaze that we put on the cake is sometimes chocolate glaze or blueberry glaze to protect the surface of the cake so it doesn't dry out and provide extra flavor to the cake. So garnishing with a purpose is very important for French pastry because it's just not putting coloring and putting a lot of cream to make it look attractive, but it it has to be balanced as well at the same time.
So there's actually a nice balance of everything in that bite, right? So it's not just all cream and
yeah, so it's an additional
gooiness.
thought. Yeah, yes, it's an additional thought towards the end product, I would say, because most people are just so visually driven nowadays that they don't understand why this is put on. Sometimes if you go to like fine dining restaurants, they put like little leaves and little microgreens to the dish. Actually, if you eat the microgreen or the herb, there's an extra flavor. But you see some people plucking it out, and it gets really like, oh, that's losing its purpose. Yeah. So a lot of French cuisine, I would say, or European cuisine is garnishing with a purpose. So they put all these little elements to the dish or the cake to enhance the product, not to just visually look good.
That's interesting. Thank you for that bit of information, because I didn't know that. Of course, visually it's very pretty. And for those of you listening to this episode, I really encourage you to go and have a look at Xiao-Ly's website, where all the cakes are really so dainty and pretty. I wanted to just backtrack a little bit, Xiao-Ly, is to ask you, because you started 14 years ago. And in the beginning, when you started, you had to make what people recognize or people like, right? Which is like the pastries or the things that they mostly request. So from there, I know you built up your credibility and had all your clients who come to you for your pastries. But how was that journey for you when you were balancing between that? Like, you have to literally keep the lights on, right?
So I try to sneak in a little bit of what I like to do to my clients, because a lot of the work I did during back in the day was customized jobs. So a lot of the parties or the weddings, they have a specific theme. For example, like this wedding is floral with dusty pink or like baroque or something like that. So when we do the cake or the dessert table, it comes with like a lot of mini desserts besides just the wedding cake. So in between, I will insert some of the mousse cakes, which is decorated based on the theme. And then I would tell the client like, oh, this is like new and special. So every time it's new and special for their special event, they'll feel very good. They'll feel like, oh, I'm very special. I only have this for my event. So they'll be very keen to take it on because it's something exciting to show their guests. It's an exclusive thing that I make for them. So from there, when they do the tasting, they're like, oh, it's actually quite nice. So slowly I explain to them, oh, this is actually what it is, like macarons, madeleines. These are like the classic French pastries. It's very new in Malaysia, but actually it's quite popular overseas. So from there, they were like, oh, okay, this is what it is. Then from there, when I moved to my first store, they could understand what I'm actually doing, besides just making customized cakes and events. So from there, a lot of clients gain confidence on what I make because they've tasted it before. So whenever I make something new, they're very keen to try, even though it's a bit foreign to them. So they know I use XXX ingredients, which is they've tested it before, or they know that I'm a bit adventurous. I will try like some funny flavors. Once they try it, they have that confidence, they would try again or try something more exciting. Because to be very honest, Malaysians are very spoiled for choice. We have local cuisine, which is abundant. And then now with new trends and social media coming in, there's just so many options and changes so quickly. So for us to keep up, we also have menu changes quite frequent in our store. So we are also seasonal. Every about 4 to 5 months, we would change our menu once. For example, if it's Christmas or Chinese New Year, change the design to based on the festivities. So a lot of people use our cakes for gifting. to surprise their friends and family, because it's something nice to receive. You know, it's always good to receive cake. And sometimes we would do florals or Easter theme, and in between towards mid-year to before Christmas, I would choose a interesting theme that is not related to the season. For example, a lot of people would do like mooncake during September, October, but actually mooncake is not a very Western dessert, I would say. So I would usually choose something like, for example, last year I did a kopitiam theme. So it's to celebrate Malaysia month, like a Merdeka month.
Hari Malaysia.
So I did like a Malaysian food series. So I had like a laksa, little cake that looks like laksa, and then a cake that looks like a kopitiam, and then I have the kaya toast, and then I had the ang ku kueh. So this year I did something else. Like this year during that period, I chose a Ghibli theme. So Ghibli is actually a big inspiration for me. I really love the studio, the movie, and the work ethics that they have towards their craft, which is quite similar on how I view my craft. Yeah, I spent maybe 2 months just to draw one character, that kind of thing. But it's so loved by so many people. Like, it reflects on the passion that they have, it reflects on their work, and people appreciate it. In order to, it's a homage that I put to the Studio Ghibli founders and artists. So I did a mini collection that is based on my favorite movies and characters. So slowly people could understand, this is not only just cake, it is the thought that I have and my ideas that transform into food.
Would you say that these are some of your marketing strategies for your patisserie?
I guess it's considered a selling point, I would say, because it's really difficult to differentiate yourself from the competitors when you don't have an angle. A lot of my cakes are some story behind on why I chose this design or why I created this design or flavor. It gives a sense of connectivity to the customers. They are able to relate to that particular cake. Maybe the No Face from the Spirited Away movie, the character. So once they see the cake, I was like, oh, I know him. They're intrigued by the visual already. Even though maybe the flavor of the cake is actually sesame, raspberry, and chocolate, which is not a very common combination for the general market, they'll be very skeptical whether to try it or not. But if it's something like, oh, I know this character is so cute, or let's give it a try, or I want to take a picture of it, so I'll buy it, that kind of thing. So it is a marketing strategy. Besides just I just want to sell my cake, I want to bring something memorable or joyful when people actually see my product.
You're talking about marketing, and I think the R&D must keep you really busy throughout the year, right? I mean, we live in Malaysia. There's so many celebrations happening all year round. How do you cope? How do you keep up with all the R&D that you have to do while still running your business?
It's quite difficult because there's only one of me. I actually do not have partners, but I have a great team. So in between, I bounce off my ideas to my staff, my team members, ask them what they think. Sometimes they'll be like, oh, this is too weird. Cannot. This is too extreme. So I tried many weird combinations before and it didn't work out. Sometimes I will ask for their feedback, okay, now it's Christmas. I've done so many Christmas throughout the years, There's only so many Santa Claus and Rudolph that I can remake, So sometimes I let my staff to have some input because it is also a team effort. It's just not only me. So they are allowed to let me know what they think or what they've seen that they like, and then you can bring up to discussion and then create the cake together. It's just not only me. But a lot of the times, if you see me at the store or if you are very regular at the store, you'll see me giving out tasters to my customers. But you want to try? Can you guess what it is? You know? So it's just to understand what is the palate of the normal people, because a lot of the times when we taste it as chefs, we always want to look for something exciting. Obviously, you know, we've tasted so many ingredients before, or we've tasted other people's things before. So we don't want to copy other people in some ways, but then we try to recreate. So for example, if you use like a white peach udon, it's a popular bubble, like a chaji drink, right? It's like a popular drink. So I would recreate that in a cake, but I would adjust to what I think is interesting. So it's something people are familiar with, but they are intrigued. Oh, how does it taste like in a cake? A lot of this inspiration is through travels, eating other people's food, Instagram. I meet a lot of chefs as well. I'm very lucky to be connected to a lot of chefs through the world of Instagram. So a lot of inspiration comes from them as well. As I mentioned, what tastes good for me might not be acceptable for a lot of other people. So a lot of the times, even R&D, I like to think, when I give it to a regular customer, they'll be like, what is this? I cannot accept. Like, I have to match expectations with what people want in that sense. It's not only just making what I want, but it doesn't sell.
That is a theme that we keep going back to, right? It's like sometimes you know that you want to be the artisan in your business, but at the same time, you really have to balance that with the actual running of the business and making sure that the product that you create is something that people will want to buy, versus like, oh, it's something that I like, but maybe people may not like it as much as I like it, right? So I think that is something perhaps maybe, you know, people in the food and beverage industry probably struggle a lot more. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, there is a fine balance between being an artist and an actual business person, I would say. Because being an artist, there's only so few people who would maybe appreciate your work. But to reach out to more people, you need to be flexible in a certain way. So this draws back to like my favorite artists, like from the Ghibli studio. So even though he needs to spend 2 years to draw his one scene, right? But if you actually watch his documentary, or even other artisans in the bakery line, if you watch their work on YouTube, or I do that a lot, I actually watch other people how they work to understand what is the reality of other people's businesses as well. So a lot of the times they are more adaptable, because there's no point doing what you like to do when most people don't like what it is, right? So feedback is very important to us. What I try to do is I have a full range of cakes or menu. I would put something that is familiar and something not familiar to the customers. So then they would have like a security net. They would buy something that they already know, sure, it tastes nice, I'm very sure 100%. Then they will be adventurous. Okay, maybe this will be my new favorite. I will try this today. So then they maybe will have a new favorite after that when they try a new thing, or maybe they won't. But it encourages people to try. And then you get the feedback from them. You're like, okay, I like the concept, but maybe you can adjust something so that it's more acceptable. So for example, we also have this dessert inside, sorbet inside ice cream cake that we sell in the store. It's actually raspberry with bell pepper, like red bell pepper. So when I put it in the label...
Really? Raspberry and bell pepper?
So, yes, raspberry and bell pepper, okay. And okay. On top of that, there is passion fruit lemon, ice cream, and there's like a bunch of stuff in it, right? So if you read the label, I put it in the label because, you know, some people might be allergic, you never know, right? So when I put it in the label, people are like, really? bell pepper, I don't like. Why got vegetable in my ice cream? So it's actually not the best selling ice cream. Really, it moves really slow. But some of the times when the customer come in and say, oh, you recommend lah, they don't look at the label. Then I say, okay, this one is very nice. I personally like this one. Then because I say I like this one, then they okay lah. So when they try it, they'll be like, oh, this is very nice, but there's this taste that I'm familiar but not sure what it is. So then they'll be like, oh, it's bell pepper. When I tell them, they'll be so surprised. So it brings like an element of surprise and excitement when you eat something, because you're trying to like unlock the taste buds. It's like, you know, if you put raspberry, it's always like, oh, raspberry sour, or strawberry sweet, you know, passion fruit sour. But they are not adventurous enough to do the combination. So you do the combination for them. And then it unlocks like a new level. They'll be like, oh, you actually can put this together. And then after that, people tell me this is their favorite cake. But if you actually see them reading the label, they say they will never choose that cake. It's very interesting.
I think there's a very interesting thing that you did there, right? I mean, one is if the person actually read the label and noticed that you had bell pepper in there, I think a lot of people can't wrap their mind around the fact that there's bell pepper in the sorbet.
Yeah.
But if you don't tell them and they eat it and they like it, and then now they're trying to figure out what ingredient that is, and they can probably accept it. So I think the second method is actually a lot better, because even for me, if I think like, if I read the label, I probably wouldn't try it because it just sounds utterly weird to have a vegetable in there. As you said, right? But I guess that's how you push the boundaries a little bit.
Yes.
Right? Like,
I mean, because you don't want to be same. Yes. They want to be excited. Even for me, you know, I go to somewhere new, I want to try something that is odd. Even though, okay, maybe it's not nice, but I had tried it. Maybe it's nice, you never know. But not everyone is so adventurous. To be honest, our product is not like the cheapest thing where you can try it multiple times, right? So you don't want to risk it. You want to try the best thing. So I guess that's where it's a different way each customer view their experience. For example, a lot of people who go for omakase, like the Japanese restaurants where you can't pick what you eat. They will just ask you what you're allergic to. Even fine dining, right? You can't really pick what you eat. They will tell you, okay, this is happening tonight. If you're allergic, just tell me, that kind of thing, right? But at the end of the day, I want to be approachable. I don't want to be like, oh, too fancy, right? Because it's cake, you know? It's a simple thing. I don't want to overcomplicate it for most people. I want it to be achievable and reachable for anyone, because it's something that you eat and make you happy. So I don't want to restrict that, oh, this is our menu, that's it. Take it or leave it. You know what I mean? So it depends on the customer. So when the customer, I feel like, oh, she's tried most of the things and I know that she maybe can accept this, I'll let her try. I'll push for it. And then if it's somebody who's like 10, who's like with a kid, you know, you want something that is a bit more safe for the family.
Comfort food, right?
You want the whole family. Yeah, comfort food. You want everybody to actually like the cake. So you'd be like, okay, you eat the chocolate caramel. You know, don't go for the raspberry pepper. But if it's like a young 20-something dating with their boyfriend, looking for excitement, then you'd be like, okay, you can try this. Maybe this one is, you know, something new for you. So it depends on the customer. So that's where it's the fun part of my job. I would say I'm a little bit greedy. I like to do everything related to pastry. So that's why you see like cakes, ice cream, gelato, now even breads. It's a ever learning experience. It's never ending, I would say. There's always something new to learn, something new to try, and it's very important to exchange knowledge with not only people in your industry, but customers in general. So sometimes you will see me talking to customers just to know what they actually like. If that customer comes very often, you know that they've probably eat everything already, right? So you will ask them, okay,
what do you recommend to them then? do you whip up something special for them?
Not exactly, but as I mentioned, we change our menu quite often. So by the time they finish the first round, I probably have something new somewhere that they would try. But unfortunately, cake eating is not in our culture. I mean, it's in general not an Asian culture thing, right? And to be honest, you can't eat cake every day. I mean, I wish you can, but it's just not the best for your health. Even though for me, I don't eat like a whole cake all the time. And I find that a little bit like pushing it already. So I want my customers to be healthy as well, so that they can come back again, see me more than seeing the doctor. But I always tell my customers, like, you know, you can't eat this every day. You might as well eat something that is good quality, and you know what's in it. So what we do is no premix, all made in-house. Even the little decorations I make myself, understand what I use as ingredients. And a lot of the things that we use, unfortunately, are imported because, like I mentioned, it's a Western culture and a Western food. So things like cream, cheese, chocolates, even like strawberry, raspberries. I mean, strawberries now we have it in Malaysia, but like certain berries, we don't have it in Malaysia. I try to incorporate some local ingredients into my cake as well, but things like chocolate and like cheese, you can't really run away, and it's things that people are familiar with. So there needs to be a balance between, like, you know, I want to use the best ingredients and also try to put in your local flavor and culture so that people can understand what you're doing.
And I like the fact that you're trying to put in some local culture, because after all, we live in Malaysia there's a plethora of ingredients and so many interesting flavors available, right? And especially to you, because you're always creating in your kitchen. So you're always trying out new things. So I really like that. I think that there's so much you can experiment with, actually.
Actually, a lot of the foreign chefs that comes to visit Malaysia, they are always very excited to see what like local fruits that we have. Obviously, durian is our most famous fruit, but we are also very famous for things that we use in our cooking, like the herbs and the spices. That is actually underrated, I would say. So, for example, for me, my favorite lime is actually limau purut.
I like that.
Yes.
Very refreshing,
so
right?
Limau purut. Yes, but you need to find a balance how to use it. You can put it in a lot of things and it becomes instantly refreshing. So it's a very underrated ingredient, I would say, in Malaysia.
So I want to ask you a little bit about social media and F&B. How much of your business growth or visibility do you credit to social media?
I would actually say a lot of our branding and visibility comes from Instagram. Unfortunately, we live in a modern day where visual is very important. Besides wearing the entrepreneur hat and also the pastry chef, I am now a content creator as well. So if you see some of the videos that we have, I'm in it. Some of the videos now I film it too. It's just to bring more understanding and awareness to our business. It is something that undeniably needed in the business in the modern day, especially after COVID. If you're not online, you are nearly non-existent. So it is important to have it, but I don't think we should be defined by it as well. At the end of the day, the product has to speak for itself. A lot of the new businesses that comes up in the recent years are very visually driven, very concept branding driven, that there's not enough substance, I feel. They are there for a while, maybe a year or two, and when the concept or the trend is gone, it collapse. I believe social media should be a supportive element to your business, but it shouldn't define what your business is. Like, it's important to show what I make, like to create content for my business, to make people understand what I do, to tell people what I have, what I sell. But it shouldn't be like I have to focus all my time to make content, but not focus my time to make the cake. So there is a fine balance to that as well. But because people are on the screen so much now, every small little comment or anything that goes viral is so important, that trend comes and goes very quickly. I'm sure everyone knows there was this burnt cheesecake trend during MCO, and then there's this tiramisu trend that's happening now, then there was this Dubai chocolate with the pistachio happening. So a lot of these things shift how the market react compared to before. When they are in trend, everyone is jumping into the bandwagon. Even though, to be very honest, tiramisu has been around for ages. And it suddenly became this new trend, which, is mind-boggling for people like us, because, we've made tiramisu for like donkey years, and then now it's in trend again.
Suddenly it's in trend again, right? It came back.
So it shifts the market drastically, and like in a very short period of time where suppliers can't react. For example, mascarpone suddenly became out of stock. Or like cheese became out of stock suddenly because there's this trend that is happening. And to be honest,
but for you, how do you take to that trend?
I obviously have to have something related to the trend, but I wouldn't say that it's like my main selling point. Like, it's not the only product that I sell. It's not the hero product. A lot of people would push the trend product as a hero product, but when the trend is gone, they don't have a hero product. Not all the trends I would join. If it's related to me, I would, but it is always a supporting product. And if it does well, it does well. But if it's not, I know what my core is and what I'm popular for, besides just the trend product.
What's your advice to other F&B owners who feel overwhelmed by this need to constantly post on social media or to be a content creator all the time?
I think everyone runs their business very differently. I think I do not condemn people who do content creation for their business, like as their main point. But I would say remember what you are doing and why you're doing it in the first place. So, for example, doesn't mean that he's doing the content, his product is no good also. He or she has probably like double the capacity maybe to have done both the cake and the content creation. I mean, it is a very competitive world now. So I would say that everybody's angle is different. I wouldn't say anyone is better than the other, or whoever is doing content creation is not good at doing cake, or whoever is doing cake is not good at doing content creation. It's just that everybody has different strengths and their branding is different. So it depends what works for them.
It's also quite a burden sometimes, right? I mean, here you are making or baking or creating, and at the same time you have to put on your content creator hat to think, okay, I think I have to film this, or I think I have to make a video about this, and later do some editing, right?
Yeah, but like I mentioned before, in the modern day, if you're not online, you are nearly non-existent. So there must be presence somewhere, but it is up to you to define how much of a presence you want online.
Yeah. So it depends on that individual, right?
Yeah, so because it doesn't define everything, like how many followers you have equals to how many sales you have as well. So I always believe at the end of the day, the strongest marketing tool is word of mouth, like good recommendation, word of mouth, where somebody recommends you from returning customers. That is the strongest and the core of the business, rather than, you have 1 million followers or 100,000 followers online, but it doesn't convert into actual sales. Like, some content will go viral. They have like 1 million views, but do you actually get 1 million
sales?
Sales at the end of the day, it might not, and probably you unless you are a constant content creator where that content is monetized, and at that point you are a YouTuber or a social media creator already. You're not running the business so much. So it depends what you want to do, I would say. Maybe that's something that works for you, but at the end of the day, like I mentioned, you sometimes have to do something that you don't like in order to support the things that you like to do.
That's a good point. I'd like to know, what's the most surprising thing for you after running your business for so long? What still surprises you? What's the most surprising thing?
Surprising thing. That's actually quite difficult because I'm in the business for nearly 14 years. So I've seen a lot of things.
Nothing surprises you anymore.
I mean, there are some surprises here and there. It is always a new challenge every now and then. For example, when I first started, social media is not a thing. You didn't need to have a website. You didn't need to have an online store. And then when COVID happened, you have to learn how to deal with COVID. And then suddenly have an online store. Then now with social media. So it's a challenge all the time. It's always something that you need to face. You need to go through in order to keep your business alive and grow. So I would say it's not that I'm surprised. It's just that, I have to do this now. That kind of thing. Yeah, so I have to learn this too. That kind of thing. So it's like it's a never-ending journey, I would say. Not battle, but journey. You have to go through it in order to continue to reach your goal. And whether that goal is the same goal, it is also not the same goal. Like, when I first started, I'll be like, this one store that's it. That's my only store. I would never move. And then suddenly 2 years later, I have to move. So the goal always changes. And when your goal changes, your challenges change, and the things that you need to go through changes as well. So I wouldn't say it's a surprising or anything that surprises me anymore, but it's something that you have to learn how to accept and endure. Perseverance, that's the word. To persevere through the challenges.
I think that is true, because I think every time you reach a milestone or something that you thought you wanted to achieve, I think probably you look at the horizon and there's something else, right? It doesn't really end unless you're very contented and you're just happy doing the same things over and over again. I think as entrepreneurs, one of the things that probably drive us is the fact that we can keep on doing and creating and learning, and it's like this cycle that goes on and on.
Yeah, it's a never-ending cycle, but of course I would say it's a marathon and not a sprint. So you need to pace yourself and try to avoid burnout, as many entrepreneurs do. You need to understand your limits, your cash flow, your capacity in order to continue for the long run, instead of, okay, we need to like open 100 stores today, but actually you can't support that system. Being ambitious is good, but for me, I'm a bit more conservative. I would say I would rather do this for a legacy in the long run than just like make the money and that's it, and open another thing next time.
Speaking of legacy, what's your legacy? Is it to continue to do this for as long as you can?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's something I'm very fortunate to have my passion turn into my career. So I'm very happy if I can still do it, if I'm physically able to, because it is very labor intensive job. So it's physically demanding, you stand all day. So I hope to be able to do this till the end of time, and hopefully my dream is to have people remember me and my creations for a long time, because overseas and other countries, other more developed Asian countries, they have like F&B stores that have been around for like 100 years, or even very fortunate to be generational. So I want it to be something that is built for a long time and not just like a trend that comes and goes.
You mentioned that people in this industry, because it's a very labor intensive, and at the same time people work long hours. Have you ever felt burnt out or like really tired?
Oh yes, of course. I mean, because in the early days, a lot of my job was customized cakes and events, and obviously all the events happen on the weekend, which is like a Friday, Saturday or Sunday, right? So in the early days, I was a one-man show. I didn't have staff for the first year. Even though my friends and family helped me a lot, but a lot of work is still boiled down to me. So sometimes I'm running on no sleep. At 2 a.m. in the morning, I'll question myself, why am I here? Why am I doing this cake? And then I will still have to finish the cake, because not like any other work, when you can delay or people can reschedule. Nobody's going to reschedule their wedding or their event. So at any point, you must finish your job and the promise you have towards your clients. And that's where reputation is on the line. You want to build a good image for your business. At the same time, you cannot just throw something out for the sake of finishing the job. So a lot of the times I had to struggle. I mean, I had to learn it on a very steep curve, because I didn't work for a lot of people in my early days, because bakery and pastry was not in trend. So there weren't many options back then. You either work in a hotel or a very local bakery. So it was a very steep curve for me. I had to learn how to manage my business, manage staff, learn how to do retail at the same time. Like, obviously I didn't have retail experience. I've never opened a store. So when I first opened the store, I had to learn how to deal with customers face to face, have a cashier system, have an operational system, a bar, and then service. At the same time, more than 3 to 4 staff, and you have to make sure everyone's happy. But of course, I had a lot of hit and misses at the same time. So I was very fortunate that I met a lot of good people along the way, and a lot of them helped me build what I have today. But it is not an easy task, and of course, emotionally, we had to grow as well. So like for me, when I have the burnout, I'll be very upset about the smallest thing. But now when I look back, it's actually so small that it's a little bit insignificant anymore. So it's learning how to deal with your emotions and look at the bigger picture to move forward. It's a growing curve lah, I would say. So it is how you manage your expectations and persevere towards your goal. So when I question myself at 2 a.m. in the morning, why am I here? And then when I actually finish, you're happy, everyone tell you your cake is great, everything's on time, everybody survived, then you be like, oh, I did it. It's an adrenaline rush for us, yeah. It's similar to how restaurant chefs cook. You know, when the order comes in, they have to cook on the spot. For us, there is some delay because in advance and we can store it a little bit more. But it is similar in a way where you need to get the job done. It needs to happen right now. Like, people will eat it and you will see the actual feedback like immediately. So it's quite exciting, and that's what pushes me to move forward in that sense when I face the burnout.
Yes, also because when you started, you were also young, right? So basically, you also grew with your business in a way.
Yeah, I mean, it helped a lot when physically I was able to keep up in that sense. I always tell my team, when you are young, you must be like a sponge. You must do everything and everything that you can. Work-life balance is important, but it is the time where it can be not balanced because you don't have the commitment, you don't have the family. This is where you can push for it. But once you have commitment and once you have you reach a certain physical age, you cannot do this as much anymore. So I always tell them, it's beneficial if you start young, but it's not impossible when you're older also. It's just a matter of how you view how much you want the job or how much you want to achieve, or what do you want. It boils down to that simple question. What do you want? Yeah.
What would you have done if you could do it all over again, knowing what you know, right?
I think if given the choice or given the chance, I would try to find a mentor, more working experience. When I'm younger, the exposure will be very different because it's good and no good to start off young, but to start a business at such a young age, like I mentioned, is a very steep learning curve and you will hit a lot of brick walls along the way. And whether or not you recover from that brick wall, it is another question based on how much perseverance you have. But if you are working for someone else and you're learning through somebody else's business, is very different. Your mistakes are not your cause. Your mistakes is other people's cause. Then you can see how maybe bigger operation works, bigger businesses, how they can grow. Because for me to reach what I am today, it probably took me longer than most people who actually work for somebody else. If that person who has worked for a hotel, they would easily adapt to running a bigger operations very quickly. But for me, I had to grow from 1 staff to 2 staff to 3 staff to 4 staff. It's a slower step. But if I had worked for a bigger operation or a hotel before, I would have known how to run with 10 staff at one go already. What system to use. The exposure is very different. So I would say that is the only disadvantage that I have from starting off so young.
Because I think you started right after you graduated.
Yes.
From your culinary studies.
Yeah. So I specifically studied pastry only. I didn't do cooking, so I'm not very good at cooking. But during that time, there weren't a lot of options in Malaysia, and to gain that kind of experience and exposure is to work overseas. And during that time, the closest was Singapore, and Singapore is not my favorite place. So I was waiting around to see if there's any other opportunities, but unfortunately, I can't wait forever. So at the same time, I just put something online and see if it sells. So I get to practice what I learned, because it's a very hands experience and sensational thing. So if you don't practice, you will get rusty. And when you go to work for someone, they would feel that you don't know anything if you don't practice. You don't have the right hand feels to do certain things. So I was like, okay, let's just put something online and see if people buy anything. But at the same
Was this
time,
online as in Facebook?
Yes, so during the early days, I had a very basic website, but obviously 14 years ago, there was no online store and online shopping is non-existent. So I had a Facebook page where I put what I make or what I practice. I put it online. And then very fortunately, friends and family started spreading, and then I started getting strangers who are ordering from me. And then strangers, friends would start to order from me, then it grew from there. So if you manage to scroll back to many years of my early day work, a lot of it is very amateur. It's very different from today, where there needs to be a setup for photo shoot, professional, branding on color and everything. It was very like, okay, I take my phone and I move to picture, and this is what I have.
But then this is actually, this harks back to what you said, right? You just got to do what you got to do in order to start, right? Otherwise, there's no way you're going to wait around.
There wasn't a lot of expectation, as you can see from my brand name. A lot of people are confused. My brand name is actually Xiaobycrustz. So it's not crust by Xiao, I'm Xiao-Ly. Because when we first decided on the name, I was discussing it with my sister. We were like, let's just use your name as the logo. Then we started drawing, and then if you look at the logo, it's actually an X, I, and A, and O. But if I don't point that out, everybody was like, what is that? Because in most F&B logo, they would have the logo of the product they are selling. For example, if you're an ice cream store, there's an ice cream cone there. If you're a cake store, there's a cake there. If you're a coffee shop, there's a coffee cup somewhere. So my logo is actually not how do you say? It's not related to
non-food
business at all.
Right? Non-food.
Yeah, non-food. Yeah. Too artsy, and it's like, if you don't point it out, people will like, what's going on? So obviously I did not put a lot of thought to it, and branding was not my thing at that point. So it was like, it looks pretty fancy, okay lah. Then Crutz was actually the company's name. I had a blog. A blog was a big thing back then. I had a blog called Crutz, because my favorite pastry is actually anything that has a crust on it, because it gives a lot of texture. So I named the company Crutz. So then now it's stuck forever as Xiaobycrustz.
Actually is something that probably your newer customers would be asking you, right? Like, why the name? And then of course, you get to elaborate on your brand, right?
I mean, there's some story to it lah. It's some background, something funny to tell people. Like, I didn't think about it. I just I didn't know I would last so long. And I'm stuck to the name for so long. Yeah.
I mean, it worked out perfectly for you. Even though you said that, it wasn't very polished in the very beginning, but look at where you are right now, right? 14 years later.
Yeah. I mean, it is still hard to describe a mouthful for our customers. A lot of the time they're like, is this Xiaobycrustz or is this crust? Like, along the years I thought to myself, should I rebrand to make it easier for people to remember? But I'm so committed to it, I'll be like, it's okay. I made it slightly easier over the years. So I had another brand called Tanuki by Crutz. It was my ice cream store. Before I moved to my new store 2 years ago, I had a second outlet. So it was under another name called Tanuki, with a Japanese raccoon. This raccoon was it's inspired by the Japanese raccoon, the folklore, where it is like a shape-shifting character. So it always tricks humans. if you've seen the story online or if you watch the movie, this character always changes into another form to trick the humans. So I view myself or my brand as something similar. So when I make a cake and you look at it and when it's like trying to trick the customer, but it's also a fun element to make people remember my product. So it's now our mascot. So if you come to our store or if you've seen the logo of like little raccoons, it's actually our mascot. So it's something slightly easier to people to remember than just the logo.
I think that's also very, very clever of you to put a mascot to it. Because otherwise, if they can't remember your name, they'll be like, okay, the one with the raccoon, right?
Yeah. So because a lot of people find that French cuisine or French pastry is very like fine dining, expensive. I don't want it to be unapproachable to customers, because at the end of the day, I view it as food. It should be something that brings joy and happiness and achievable for people. They can just buy. You don't have to overthink, should I wear this or should I eat, how should I eat it? It shouldn't be overcomplicated. So I wanted it to be more approachable. A lot of my competitive brands, they sell it as luxury and elegance, which is the core of French cuisine, right? But I wanted it to be something that you can buy as an affordable luxury in a way, where it's not over fluffed, where you have to think twice before you buy it.
Well said, Xiao-Ly. Well said. So last question before we end is, where can people find you online? Now that you have intrigued us with so many of the things that goes on in your business, where can people find you online or offline?
So our physical store is in SS2 PJ, near 3 Damansara. That's the biggest landmark. We are nearby there. If you go online, you just type Xiaobycrustz. We are on IG, Facebook, and we have our own website where you can order in advance. And also we offer same-day delivery. So if you have a last-minute celebration or you forgot somebody's birthday, it's okay. We will help you deliver on the day itself as well. Yeah, but
Tanuki will come to the rescue, right?
Yes, exactly. So in the physical store, there are more offerings because we view it as our main store, our flagship store in a way, where it's a one-stop center for anything and everything that you like about pastries. So you have something for everyone. A lot of people come with their friends and family in a bigger group because it is a big space, so we can fit a lot of people and bigger groups at one time. So there's something for everyone. We have pastries, cakes, ice cream. So if you have somebody who's with their kids and even their elderly parents, they all can come together and enjoy a good time at the store.
Final question. I when you said, everyone can come, how sweet are your pastries?
I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, they are desserts. Right? It's undeniably there's sugar somewhere.
But do you customize it? Yeah, I know there's some people who reduce sugar, or put less sugar just because the general population don't take so much of sugar. Or what do you do with that kind of request, if ever?
To be very honest, there is a certain level of sugar that I can reduce. I understand in Asian countries, we are not big fans of things that are very sweet. So I would say, even though I reduce the sugar, it might affect the taste, in general taste and texture. There's a limit to what I can reduce before it tastes not nice. Right? You'll be like, oh, it doesn't taste very good. So I would say quality rather than quantity. So it's not about eating a lot of it because you're worried about being fat. You're eating it at a moderate pace or at a moderate amount as a treat for yourself and not feel guilty after that. So I always tell my customer, if you're already eating something that is bad for you, might as well eat something that is good in quality. And then at the end,
that's a really good. That's a good one.
Yeah, so you might as well eat something that is good in quality, that you don't feel bad after eating it. What's the point of eating it if you feel bad after eating it, right? So it is pacing yourself and not like eat 10 cakes at one time, but you can come 10 times to eat 10 different cakes.
So thank you so much, Xiao-Ly. I think I enjoyed this second recording because I think we delved into a lot more about your behind the scenes. Somewhat different from the first time, which I was asking a lot more, a different kind of question. But now I think I find that there was a lot more depth into this one as well. So I really enjoyed it.
Oh, I am glad. I hope everyone else enjoys the session. But of course, feel free to reach out if you need any more information. And I hope to see you in the store.
Yeah. So we'll definitely put all the links in the show notes that goes with this episode. And of course, if you go to her store, go up to her and say hi, and maybe tell her what you like in her store.
Yes, that would be great to meet everyone.
Xiao-Ly's story reminds us that you can be both an artist and a practical business leader. By pairing garnishing with the purpose, as she calls it, with a grounded approach to marketing, product development, and customer education, she's built a brand that's both memorable and a little mischievous. How might you bring a similar balance of craft and business to your own venture, especially through deliberate storytelling and purposeful design? Or incorporate your favorite movies or characters or even their characteristics in your products? This has been an incredible season as I spoke to women entrepreneurs in this region from the Philippines, Malaysia, Singapore, UAE, Indonesia, Japan, and Hong Kong. Our topics this season covered revenue operations, owning your confidence, challenging norms, transforming personal crisis into a mission, providing access to funding in business, uplifting the lives of girls in rural areas, running a remote business as a Gen Z entrepreneur, uprooting yourself and leaving your own country for an unfamiliar one, or even having a non-linear path in life, and finding peace with oneself, and so much more. Even my super short episode on leadership and followership is something I encourage you to listen to. I had the pleasure of featuring Sonam Ludani, Baby Kale Lena, Danya Adriana Ferry, Marie Tuason, Gabriella Yan, Rahel Podopsky-Stuki, Fumiko Inada, Mensch Dizon, Carmen Salame, Dawn Concha Abiera, Ritu Marish, and Louisa Lee on my podcast this season. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the stories of women in business across our Asian region. And don't forget to follow me on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram for more behind-the-scenes insights and updates. If you'd like to support this podcast or check out my programs or even just to send me a note and email, please find out more at womenpreneurasia.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you in season 11.